let's go and look at it again. Let's go this time over to let's go to Isaiah chapter 13, and we'll pick it up at verse 1. Isaiah 13 and verse 1. This is Jesus that we're reading about here that's going to do all of this stuff that we've been reading about here. Isaiah chapter 13, and we'll begin reading at verse 1. But nobody ever tells you this about Jesus.
Yes, sir.
You know, he's just simply the Lamb of God that loves everybody, the little baby laying in the manger. But nobody tells you about him being the Lion of Judah, the one that's going to take vengeance against the nation. Start reading at Isaiah 13 and begin at verse 1. 13 and 1. Go ahead, read.
The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amoz did see.
Now this Babylon, this is dealing with Rome here. This is the last Babylon. You know, the Bible talks about Babylon that was ruled over by Nebuchadnezzar, and it talks about the last Babylon that John told you about in the 17th chapter of Revelation. This is the last Babylon. Go ahead and read on.
Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain.
Go ahead.
Exalt the voice unto them. Shake the hand that they may go into the gates of the nobles.
Go ahead.
I have commanded my sanctified ones. I have also called my mighty ones for mine anger.
See what the Lord said, I have commanded my sanctified one. And he ain't talking about righteous people here either. He's talking about people that have been set aside to do his battling for him. Because the Lord going to use I said a revived Roman Empire to deal on the on Babylon, which is he's gonna use Russia to deal on the revived Roman Empire. That is also called Babylon here. Go ahead and read on.
Even them that rejoice in my highness.
Go ahead.
The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord of hosts mustereth the host of the battle.
So now you got all these nations gathered to do battle. He said the Lord of hosts, he mustereth the host to the battle. Go ahead and read on.
They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even the Lord, and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land.
Now this is Russia and her allies. These are the kings of the earth that we read about over in Revelation, that the river Euphrates was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. And this is who we're dealing with here, the king of the east, Russia and her allies. Go ahead and read on.
Verse 6, Howl ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty.
Now that's what the day of the Lord is. It's going to come as destruction from the Almighty. Go ahead and read on.
Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt.
Go ahead.
And they shall be afraid. Pangs and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, cruel both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it.
You know the Lord going to deal with? He's going to deal with the sinners. You know, these are the unrepentant sinners. I'll put it that way. You know, because, you know, books say all men have sinned.
Yes, sir.
But then some repented and some didn't.
Yes, sir.
You know, John even told you about it in the 9th chapter of Revelation about those that did not repent. But he said that day the Lord is going to destroy the sinners out of the land. Go ahead and read on.
Verse 10.
Go ahead.
For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light.
Now we clearly understand what time we are dealing with, don't we? We are dealing with the days just before the coming of the Lord. You know, 24th chapter of Matthew, when they asked him what would be the sign of his coming and of the end of the world. And he went on to tell them about the stars not giving their light and the moon not giving their light and all that. Now, this is what time we're dealing with here in this 13th chapter of Isaiah. Go ahead and read.
The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity.
See what the Lord said, at that time, I'm going to punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity. That's who the wrath is going to be on. So if you're not among the wicked, then you're okay.
Yes,
but
sir.
if you're among the wicked, then that time the Lord going to deal with it. And the Lord ain't talking about just dealing with nations. He going to deal with men as well. I'm going to show you that too. But go ahead and continue reading.
And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. Therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place.
Well, that's why the nation's running. Because the Lord going to shake up everything. You understand what? He going to shake the earth, and he going to shake the heavens as well. So when the Lord starts doing that, everybody going to be fleeing, crying for the rocks to fall on them. Because everybody is afraid at that time. I'm going to shake the heavens, and I'm going to shake the earth. Go ahead and read on.
In the wrath of the Lord of hosts.
In the wrath of the Lord of hosts. Go ahead and read.
And in the day of his fierce anger.
And in the day of his fierce anger. Let's go now to Joel chapter 3. And we'll begin reading at verse 9. Joel 3. And we'll pick it up at verse 9. 3 and 9. 3 and 9. 3 and 9. Again, the Lord going to call the nations down, and He's going to deal with the nation. After that, He's going to establish His kingdom. But now, first He's going to deal on the nations, and He's going to pour out His wrath first. Then He is going to establish His kingdom. Because the Lord got to first take control of this earth. You understand what I'm saying? Then after He take control of this earth, then He can establish His government. Let's start reading at Joel chapter 3 and begin reading at verse 9. Go ahead and read.
Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up.
They said, proclaim this among the nations. Prepare war and let all of the mighty men draw near. Go ahead and read on.
Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong.
And the Lord wants everybody armed. You understand what I'm saying? He wants all the nations down there in that valley, and when they show up in that valley, He wants them to be armed. Because now the Lord is getting ready to overthrow the nations, and He's going to do it by war. Go ahead and read on.
Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord.
Go ahead and read.
Let the heathen be wakened, and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat.
Now this is called the valley of Jehoshaphat because Jehoshaphat means where Jehovah was judged. Now this Jehovah, we know it's Jehovah, Jesus, they're one and the same. But now he said, let them come down to the valley of Jehoshaphat. Go ahead and read on.
For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about.
Go ahead.
Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow.
And here we got this harvest again, and he's talking about that sickle just like he was talking about over in Revelation, and we clearly understood that was dealing with Jesus, right?
Yes, sir.
It's the same one, same time. Go ahead and read on.
For their wickedness is great.
Go ahead.
Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision. For the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision.
You said multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision. The day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. Go ahead and read on.
The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining.
Now again, we have that sign, right?
Yes,
and
sir.
this clearly identifies what time we are dealing with here. We are dealing with just before the coming of the Lord, and that is when He's going to pour out His wrath. Go ahead and continue reading.
Verse 16. The Lord also shall roar out of Zion, and utter His voice from Jerusalem. And the heavens and the earth shall shake, but the Lord will be the hope of His people and the strength of the children of Israel.
So now the Lord is coming. You know, after He overthrows the nations, then He is going to establish His kingdom. Go ahead and continue reading.
So shall ye know that I am the Lord your God dwelling in Zion.
See what it said? Then you will know I am the Lord your God dwelling in Zion. But the Lord is not going to dwell in Zion until He overthrows the nations first. Then you're going to know I am the Lord your God dwelling in Zion. Go ahead and read on.
My holy mountain. Then shall Jerusalem be holy.
And He said, then Jerusalem will be holy. Well, we know Jerusalem not holy today, is it?
That's right, but no.
Because some of everything goes on over there now.
Yes, sir.
But after the Lord overthrow the nations and establish His government on this earth, then Jerusalem will be holy. Go ahead, continue reading.
And there shall no strangers pass through her anymore.
Go ahead, continue.
And it shall come to pass in that day that the mountains shall drop down new wine, and the hills shall flow with milk, and all the rivers of Judah shall flow with waters, and a fountain shall come forth of the house of the Lord, and shall water the valley of Shittim.
Go ahead, read.
Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness.
Now here he is again. He's talking about how he's going to deal on Edom here again. You know, he said Edom will be a desolation. Go ahead and read on.
For the violence against the children of Judah. Because
he said the reason it's so because of the violence against the children of Judah. He even told you that in Numbers, didn't he? You know, when he told you he was going to deal on Moab, then he said he's going to deal on Edom too. At what time is he going to deal on Edom? The same time he's going to deal on Moab at his coming. Go ahead, continue reading.
Because they have shed innocent blood in their land.
Go ahead.
But Judah shall dwell forever, and Jerusalem from generation to generation.
Go ahead.
For I will cleanse their blood that I have not cleansed, for the Lord dwelleth in Zion.
Now, let's go now to Zephaniah chapter 3. And we'll begin reading at verse 5. Zephaniah chapter 3, and we'll pick it up at verse 5. 3 and 5. 3 and 5. I told you earlier we were going to